Hello, welcome back to another video. It's that time where we get to read a new issue of Transformers. Issue 17 just came out today. I picked it up at the comic book store today. Actually picked up both the cover A, the Danny Warren Johnson, and the cover B, the Jorge Corona Ultra Magnus cover. So we're gonna talk about the whole issue. Again, full spoilers on this one. So if you haven't read it yet, don't watch this video unless you really don't care. But we're gonna talk about everything that goes on in the issue and my kind of early thoughts. And what I love about these issues is there's the more you sit with them, the more you get out of them. You see more of the character dynamics. You see the stories that are being played out, the subtleties in the dialogue, and there's a whole lot going on here. And maybe it's just me that one of the select few that really studies each issue, takes it all in and enjoys it to its fullest. But I will say that I definitely get more out of the issue each time I read through it. Each time I revisit the art, I pick up on things that I didn't see before. So always fun to not only catch the early thoughts once there's a full arc, and we can talk about the whole story. But yeah, anyway, let's jump into it. We'll talk about what's going on. One of the things that happened last issue, again, lots of story threads going on, lots of action happening. Lots of dynamics, character interactions, tons going on, and you get that again in this issue. Each kind of story thread gets X amount of pages, some just a couple, some a little more, but we start off with the Thundercracker thread. Last issue, Thundercracker learned that Soundwave was also involved with Starscream, and that they were the ones who kind of tore apart Skywarp and merged him with Teletran 1. And Thundercracker was not having any of that, so he kind of abandoned Soundwave and flew off to, presumably off to the Ark. And then we do see that it kicks off in the issue. We see him arriving at the Ark. The 2-page scene, it really is. I thought there would be more to it in this issue besides these two pages, and I honestly thought there'd be more dialogue. I thought there'd be more to it, but there's not, and there doesn't necessarily need to be, especially on that second page, because you see Thundercracker arrive in the Ark. You see him looking for Skywarp. He sees him, trapped in there. He's kind of his torso merged with Teletran 1, and immediately starts trying to rip the wires out. Tries to get Skywarp out of there, and Skywarp informs him, "Hey, you can't take me out of here." What does it say? It's removal means death. Very minimal dialogue. And then Thundercracker says like, "Okay, so you're stuck here. Then I'll figure something else out." And then that's it. That's all you get. I kind of thought there'd be a lot more emotional dialogue between the two. I thought there'd be a little more. We'd see more of that in this issue, but again, keeps us guessing, and not what happened. So after that 2-page introduction to the issue, we pick up another story thread, which is the Beachcomber, RC, Spike, and Carly, who are off looking for Ultra Magnus, trying to, Ultra Magnus left at the issue 11, kind of saw Shockwave, and just kind of his, once he saw Shockwave, the trauma kicked in, and he had to escape there. He had an emotional breakdown that he couldn't face Shockwave because of all the years of torture that he suffered at the hands of Shockwave. So Ultra Magnus has been off, and then they're finally catching up to him here. The last issue, they showed that they were kind of onto his tracks. They're showing signals of Energon. They were close. This sequence is really cool because we get more of Beachcomber's thoughts and when he decided to become more of a pacifist. And up until now, I kind of assumed that it was when he was on the moon, when he was stuck on the moon for all those years, looking at the beauty of Earth and deciding that, okay, now kind of choosing the path of peace, choosing the path of life. And what we learn in this issue is that he actually came to that decision before that. When they were fighting on the Ark, there's a flashback scene when he's talking to RC in this scene, but then they flash back to him on the Ark again, and there's a wonderful panel which kind of homages the beautiful panel from issue 10 where he's staring at the moon. But you see this panel where he talks about he didn't like what was going on, didn't like where this was going, but then he saw the hole ripped open, the stars and the beauty of space outside, and he has this revelation that like I'm done. There's beauty out there. I'm gonna stop fighting. And I think that's really interesting because, like I said, I thought that it was the being on the moon that caused him to make that change, but actually it occurred earlier. So I love that we keep getting things like that, little tidbits of information that kind of we get more information that fleshes out the story and the character motivations even more. So that's really fun. I love seeing that. But I really love this 2-page that the flashback sequence and basically him kind of not pleading his case, but just explaining to RC like why he feels how he feels. And again, RC gets the pushback like, yeah, but there's what you say, there's but Beachcomber, what if there is no choice? What if it's either fight or die? And he actually doesn't get a chance to answer that question. It's a great question. It's many things that I think about with Beachcomber and what his points of view are. I agree with the desire to lead a more peaceful life, but what happens when you're confronted with the reality that sometimes you can't avoid this? So it's a great question. I'd love to see Beachcomber's response, but unfortunately you don't see it, and they get attacked. And what you see is that it's Ultra Magnus is firing upon them. And he has a moment of, he's confused. He's still kind of, he's still broken. Ultra Magnus is definitely still broken in this scene. He attacks RC and Beachcomber. He doesn't know it's them at first. Then RC has a moment where she says, "Hey, Ultra Magnus, it's me. Stop." And then he stops attacking, and then you see his see what he's been up to. He has been a broken Ultra Magnus off on his own, and he has built his own fortress that out of like trees and logs and sticks, and it's very tragic. It's a tragic, what you think of Ultra Magnus, especially when you see that the first time we see Ultra Magnus in this series, it's when we see the young RC. He's rescuing her. He's in full city commander battle mode. He's guns blazing. This really powerhouse of a character. And then we saw the double page spread in issue 11 where he's just this imposing, strong, physically imposing character. And then he doesn't fight. He flees. And then we see him here, and he's just you see how broken he is, and it's incredibly tragic. I want to see, where this goes, how long it's going to take Ultra Magnus to kind of come back. If he can come back, we'll see. I don't know. But really, that's all we get from this storyline in this issue. Their storyline, there's 4 pages dedicated to that. And we're left with that image of Ultra Magnus kind of on his knees, like I'm so sorry. I just, what does he say? It says, I was only trying to keep myself safe. He was building a safe haven, and he was just, he felt threatened again, and he just lashed out. And yeah, it's very heartbreaking. Again, very Danny Warren Johnson, very Transformers. It's very, very intriguing. What I found interesting was that you see Spike, I guess more time has passed. I'm not sure. Last time the Spike was talking to a doctor, it was like not looking good for him walking. And we see Spike kind of surfing on Beachcomber's surfboard with Carly and RC along with Beachcomber. So I don't know. I guess Spike is doing better. He's on the mend. After we see the Ultra Magnus reveal, we kick it back to Cybertron. And that's where Cliffjumper is on his mission. Last issue, he retrieved some sparks, fragments of the sparks from his clan, from his family, who was killed by Starscream. And we're introduced to a new character in this scene. Well, new to the series is Blades. And Blades is a character that I honestly I don't remember much about in the cartoon. Yeah, I mean, I if they hadn't said his name, I wouldn't have been able to say who it was. It's not one that's stuck in my memory from my memories of Transformers. Like I said, many things when I read this series, it's like there are certain memories that are unlocked, but I saw Blades and I was like, nah, nothing unlocked. This scene is talking about it's really intriguing how this plays out too, because essentially Alita is kind of reluctantly helping Cliffjumper. She's like, yeah, I'm going along with you. I'll help you. Whatever you're going to do with these sparks, I'll assist you. But I'm still, I kind of, she's like, really, it's just I want to assist you so we can create another character or another Autobot who can help us fight the Decepticons, and that's it. And she still has that that dire outlook on things. And what's very interesting is that you see when we were introduced to this band of characters in issue, what was it, 15, we see a very murderous and kind of menacing looking Blue Streak, and which is out of character. He killed Ramjet in that issue, and yeah, you're like, whoa, this is not who we were kind of used to when it comes to Blue Streak. But what you see here is that Blue Streak is softening to the idea of you see Cliffjumper's impact and the hope that he has introduced to this band of Autobots. And first off, we saw them kind of sticking with Elita, saying, yeah, like this is a Prime, Optimus Prime left us, like, the heck with him. But now Cliffjumper is in the group. They're have a mission that's a hopeful mission, and Blue Streak is kind of like saying like, well, actually, yeah, Prime left us, but he came back for like 5 minutes and got rid of Shockwave, and it definitely improved our situation here, and he was only here for a short period of time. So kind of softening on the idea of like, maybe Prime isn't all that bad after all. But yeah, that there's a page here that it's really cool. It's a kind of like a Elita Strike Squad roll call page, which were just fun. You see Warpath and Blur, Blades, and Elita along with Cliffjumper, and they're going to go off on their mission to take the spark canister and try to use those to revive someone. Cut back to Earth then and see. This is an important page, I think, because it's Optimus Prime both coming to terms and ignoring completely what's going on with his kind of mental breaks when he, Wheeljack's kind of saying like, what the heck happened, man? Like, you really went wild and you destroyed that dam. Look at all the destruction that you see around us. There's a panel of them. The page kicks off with them up on a ledge with, you see a flooded valley with houses and things that are destroyed. So they address it, but then they also have to keep going because Wheeljack gets a signal that the Decepticons are all moving towards Seattle, and they don't want another Tacoma situation. They're not equipped to take on two combiners and the rest of Soundwave and Starscream, and still Optimus is like, look, we got to go. Wheeljack wants to take him back to the Ark and kind of do some diagnostics again to try to figure out what's going on, and Optimus is like, no, there's no time to regroup, Wheeljack. Human lives are at risk. We must do all we can and hope for the best. So I have a feeling this is leading towards another Optimus breakdown, and I feel like they get progressively worse. So I feel like the next time it happens, it's going to be very, very bad. But no doubt, I feel like that's coming. And then after that one page on Earth, we go back to Cybertron to pick up where Elita and her strike team are, and you're introduced to its Thrust and Ratbat, and they're the ones that are kind of guarding the Well of Sparks, and they're complaining that there's this is a deadbeat task, like job where we've been left. This is boring. What are we doing here? I want some action. And Thrust is like, I want to kind of get on the action wherever it is. And then all of a sudden we see Blur kind of speed by and strap a bomb to Thrust, and the action that Thrust was looking for has come to them. So they're making their assault on the Well of Sparks, and you have let's see, it's Blur, Warpath, and Blue Streak, and they're kind of causing a distraction for Elita and Cliffjumper to kind of make their way to the Well of Sparks. You see Elita and Cliffjumper in alt mode. Cliffjumper, it's fun to see. He's got the well of, or the spark canister strapped to the hood of the car, and they're driving towards there. This is some really great action going on here, and there's a really killer page that comes up, which is Thrust and Ratbat are on the tails of Cliffjumper and Elita. Elita kind of says, "Go ahead, Cliffjumper. I'll take care of this." And then you see this awesome page of we revisit like some wrestling moves, but it's a clothesline. Elita comes and clotheslines both Thrust and Ratbat, takes them out, and then they continue their way to the Well of Sparks. And there's a really beautiful. I love the way that this is the Well of Sparks is colored. Spicer's colors on the Well of Sparks looks beautiful there. Really cool page there. I like that there's a panel where it shows the scale of the Well of Sparks, because you get a little Cliffjumper and Elita in front of it. And then they start the process. They start the process of it says, sparks needed for creation event. There's a tube where they hook the canister up, and then Cliffjumper's like, here goes everything. So I thought that was a cool, here goes nothing, but it's here goes everything, because this is what he's committed to making this work, and I think that's really, really cool. I love that Cliffjumper is kind of the one driving the action in this mission. So, Alita, she's there for backup, and she's obviously the one doing the heavy lifting, but he's the one that's making it happen. So, and then, man, cut back to Earth, and so the fearing the situation in Seattle, the fears are warranted, because we see a page of it's crazy. It's Bruticus, Devastator, Astro Trains flying, carrying Starscream. They're just destroying Seattle, and this was a little. This page took me a little bit to kind of process what was going on. I think because the issue moves so much, because there's so much happening. I feel like this is a page where it would have been beneficial to have like one more page or one more panel on this page to kind of help sell the action a little more. But again, it took a couple times to study what was going on, but then it did click. It's all there. It just, I think it could be a little more fluid in how it's presented, because what happens is crazy, and it's a moment that I wish a little more time was dedicated to, because it's pretty crazy. So what happens is Bruticus and Starscream their faction arrives on the scene in Seattle, and Bruticus is immediately this like saucer-looking thing smashes into Bruticus, and you realize that it's the top of the Space Needle that Devastator just ripped off and threw at Bruticus. So that's an amazing moment, really, like a whoa. But that's why I wish there was a little bit more there to kind of help understand that impact, because what happens is the impact of it is fully realized after the fact, because there's the middle part of the page has the saucer, like that section smashing into Bruticus, and then down below you see Devastator kind of dropping down after throwing the top of it from the Space Needle. So I like it. It was the revelation was fun to see, but I think there could have been a more dramatic way to tell that, to kind of feel the impact of that moment a little more. But again, that's the trade-off of having so much else going on in the issue, that there's sometimes that you have to make those sacrifices to make everything fit in the issue. So we'll take it. But there's some great back and forth between Soundwave and Starscream. Yeah, I love their kind of banter back and forth. They just hate each other while all this destruction and everything's going on around them. So, and again, I love that there's more of this. I kept thinking there would be more of this throughout this arc, but when it happens, I think they're saving it for impactful moments like this, because there's a half-page splash of Devastator again, just like decking Bruticus, and I like to see their back and forth, the two combiners fighting. So, and again, it's playing with expectations. I thought this arc would be a lot about that, a lot about those two fighting and focusing on their fights, but really they're just peppering it in there. Half splash here, half splash there. There's that double page spread in last issue, but really they're doing certain little things to show the impact of the moment without devoting too much time to it, because there's so much else going on. They can't devote all the time to them fighting just that. So, which I get and I love. It's just, again, not what I was necessarily expecting, but I love what we're getting. So, what's also great about this page is you see the Autobots are arriving on the scene, and there's a moment where Optimus Prime's like, okay, prepare yourselves, and you see him kind of gripping his gun, and then they turn the page, and it's him putting his gun away, and they're there to save humans. And you think like it sets up the scene that like, okay, we're gonna go take it to the Decepticons, but it's Optimus Prime like realizing, look, our role here is not fighting them. Our role here is to save the humans, and come on, that's like a great Optimus Prime. So even though you get those moments of Optimus Prime breaking, the like when he destroyed the dam, you know that he's not right. Ultimately, he's not right. Something's going on, but he's still the Optimus Prime that we know and love, and it's amazing to see that here. So there's a great panel of Jazz and Trailbreaker kind of helping rescue humans, and there's the panel where Optimus Prime is like holding up Bruticus's foot to stop him from smashing these humans in a car, which is a small scale underneath there. So this is an absolutely killer page. Yeah, a great Autobot team shot going into action, and then all of them doing what they can do to save the humans. And so Optimus Prime had Bruticus's foot, stops him from killing the humans, and then basically knocks Bruticus off balance. And you see Bruticus fall, and then you get this great Optimus Prime moment because he lets these two humans into his truck, and they're like, they're like, who the heck are you? And then it's the name is Optimus Prime. So you get the kind of the my name is Optimus Prime. And you get that kind of that moment, which is great because he says the name is Optimus Prime. We are here to rescue you. And then this bottom panel I love because it's Jazz and Wheeljack with like handfuls of humans that are just like running out of these explosions, carrying as many humans as they can, and then you get Trailbreaker and Optimus Prime in their vehicle modes and they're rolling out there. So that's a great page. There's just so much going on in this issue, so much great action. There's nothing. I mean, that's a broken record when it comes to this series, but I absolutely love seeing it. And then, oh my God, cuts back to Cybertron, and the whole sequence is amazing. It's so Daniel Warren Johnson. It speaks to it. It should have been telegraphed before, but I didn't see this coming. But this is amazing. So it goes back to Cliffjumper, their mission to kind of use the spark canister to create a new Autobot. And what you see is Blades kind of carrying in some kind of cargo, and Cliffjumper's like, all right, drop it. And we see onto the pad where they're going to scan. It needs like a secondary, Alita says, the program's asking for a secondary form to model. So that's why Cliffjumper's like, all right, Blades, bring it in. And he drops it down, and it's like Carly's mangled van. And you're like, oh my God, that's where this is going? And yes. So they scan the destroyed remnants of Carly's van. It says scanning complete. And then there's this awesome, panel of the Well of Sparks kind of going into action. And a new Autobot is born. We see this. It's like you see a foot kind of come out. You see the like a silhouette of a head. And this like kind of nice tall shadow kind of coming over Cliffjumper, and Cliffjumper's like, what's your name? Because the new Autobot saying, Cliffjumper, we recognize. No, I recognize you from ages past. So it's like it's the kind of what's happening is since Cliffjumper used multiple bits of his family members, now they're kind of merging into one new soul. And Cliffjumper's like, yeah, what do you call yourself? And you turn the page, and there's this end splash of, holy crap! I mean, I don't know why I didn't see this coming, because it's perfect. It makes absolute sense. It's my name is Shredhead, and it's Carly's van as a new kick-ass Autobot with like this energy sword, and like, oh my God, like that's like, I feel like I feel foolish for not seeing this coming, but oh my gosh. So this is like one of those moments where you turn the page and it's like a cheer out loud moment, because all throughout this series, I've said that multiple times that the van showed up. I talked about it I opened a page from issue 8 because it was a Beachcomber page where he has a silhouette cameo. But another reason why that page appealed to me was because it had an image of Carly's van on it, and I've been wanting a page with Carly's van, because her van is like a character in this story, and now her van is a character in this story. So I mean, it's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. So who knows what's happening next, but pretty much I got to think that Shredhead is going to, do some damage because it's such a metal looking Autobot. I'm curious to see how the larger fan base of Transformers is going to accept this character. I think it's perfect, but it might be too Danny Warren Johnson for a lot of Transformers fans. I don't know, but I'm eager to find out. So if you're one of those Transformers fans, like, let me know what do you think of this? What do you think of this reveal? This new character? It's been teased that there was a new character coming. Was not expecting that, but I love it. So yeah, this is I tell you this. But next issue is the wrap up of this story arc. This is not it's not gone the way that I have thought, and I love that about it. I love the amount of thought that I've put into this series, and I'm still surprised by things that happen. That's wonderful. I'm excited to see where this is going, and can't wait because major stuff has to happen next issue because I still feel like Megatron's out there. I feel like it's going to end with a Megatron coming on the scene, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's great. Can't wait. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.